About the cost of living in the UK. My name is Caitlin and I'm an American, but I lived in Norwich in the UK to do my master's degree at UEA. I know that a lot of TikTokers are going to comment like, duh, but this is just a reminder that the UK, living there, especially if you're a student and can't work full time, is really not cheap. I was studying technically full-time, but the hours are very small, and I worked as much as I was legally able to, which, if I remember correctly, on a student visa is 20 hours per week when you are in session, 40 hours on holiday times. And I did both of those things, so I was working 20 hours, and I also was teaching online, so I was working a bit remotely, so I could work extra hours because that wasn't UK income. And I was living in a shared house because I had to. Prior to being in the UK, I had places by myself, but there was just absolutely no way that I was going to be able to afford it. Also, I lived in Norwich, which my understanding is that it's one of the cheapest for student life in the UK. I think that talking about cost of living is always a bit of a what's the point conversation because we're all different and we all live very differently. But I paid over £300 per month for my room in a 4-bedroom shared house in Norwich, plus probably around £80 to £100 on top of that for all of the bills. So it would have been Wi-Fi, electric, water, and then also my own. I would have had a cell phone bill as well. I've always been pretty good with money, so I had a good bit of savings that I was living off of. So the money that I was making was just an addition to that. But I would say minimally, I was spending £200 for all of my food and drink in a month. So that might include my groceries plus a few restaurant meals plus a few drinks out per week. There were student bars that made things cheaper, rather than, 6-pound pints, they might be 4-pound pints. But yeah, it was not a cheap time in my life. And the UK is always going to be expensive.